with my playthrough of Wolves of Langston by Obvious Mimic. My character is Riven Brassleaf, and where we last left off, he entered the town of Langston to find that they were holding a funeral for a girl who had been murdered, and then the mayor hired me to investigate the murder. And so she said the next day we would talk about the specifics of the case, and then my character went to bed. Now we're picking up from there. Okay? We have the Wolves of Langston music going. And, why is. Oh, man. Might not be able to play too long because. Oh, wait. I can plug in my phone. I was going to say, man, I'm only at 5%. I guess I gotta plug in my phone. There we go. Okay. Gain the benefits of a long rest because I slept last night. You wake up in a soft bed to a hot breakfast cooling outside your door. This is much better living than camping by the road, so it's probably time to meet your benefactor. With the help of a few locals on the streets, you make your way to Town Hall. The inn's common room is a bustle of activity as quiet townspeople load flowers from the funeral into a wagon in front of the inn. The body of the deceased is already gone. After weaving your way through the workers, you find yourself outside where passerby are deliberately ignoring the wagon full of blossoms. With the help of a few locals on the streets, you make your way to the town hall. That's weird. I said that in 2 paragraphs. Must be a typo. The town hall is a multi-story building, but not much larger than the surrounding structures. It isn't made of the same timber walls as the rest of the town. It is instead a much sturdier stone structure, so it likely predates the town's growth. The door stands open and an aide greets you when you arrive. He shows you to the mayor in a large but simply appointed office in the back of the building. The room is dominated by a large dark-stained wood desk where Mayor Anathrim is working with a quill and inkpot. There is also an unlit hearth on one wall and a couple of orderly bookshelves. There are no personal effects that you can see. A cushion and a bowl of water are set up next to the desk. The mayor's mastiff is lounging there, watching you intently as you enter. You can greet the mayor or pet the dog first. I'm going to greet the mayor. You politely greet the mayor, and the dog lays its massive head back down on its paws. It continues to watch you closely, however. I am grateful for your service, she says. You assume she is being genuine, but it's impossible to tell for sure with her stony delivery. She outlines the problem she's having. A gruesome murder about a week ago. The town militia is fine against bandits or sheep rustlers, but this requires someone different. The poor girl was mangled as if by a wild beast, but she was found within town. Besides, Roy keeps the woods free of monsters and supernatural hazards. And besides, she explains, you're an outsider and therefore expendable. It's the mayor's role to protect the town, not every drifter that wanders in. The town will pay 320 gold pieces to eliminate the threat. That fee is not negotiable, and Mayor Anathrim gives you the impression it would be bad for your health to try. If you accept the job, go to 48. If you reject the job, go to 5. I'll accept. Excellent. Mayor Anthem says in a gravelly tone you can only assume means she's pleased. Let us begin. Please speak to Maybelline's fiancé. He is an herbalist who lives on the western edge of town where he tends his garden and makes medicines for the town folk. You thank the mayor and prepare to leave, but she holds up a hand. I have also made an arrangement with our general store. You may go to resupply any time you may need to do so. It does not have so many goods as a big city, but it will likely have whatever you need. much at a discount, and here is an advance to make whatever purchases you may need. Add 20 gold pieces to your inventory. Woot. 20 gold, which is good because I was dirt broke. You thank the mayor for her kind gesture, and she grunts in response before returning to the paperwork on the table. Go to see Tomlin, the town's herbalist, and Maybelline's fiance. Go to 49. Anytime you're within the town of Langston, you may visit the store. To visit the general store, make note of your starting section and turn to the back of the book to the section labeled General Store. There you can follow prompts to make transactions. Return to the section you started from when you are done. Okay. Well, I am at 48, so let's go to the general store. Is there a hyperlink that takes me to the general store? I don't think so. So I guess I gotta find the general store in the back of the book. The general store. Well, nope. Make that go away. Okay. The general store smells of sawdust and is always well lit and well loved oil lamps. Decades of neglected dusting means that the windows are so thick with sediment that it's impossible to tell what time of day it is outside. The proprietor greets you with a warm smile and offers to help you find whatever you need. He reminds you that potions are especially good value here in Langston, thanks to Tomlin, the herbalist's good work. Which is good because that's what I came for, is I need some potions. Let's see. Potions. Potions of healing. Dang nabbit, they're 25 gold. Just out of my reach. Okay. That's alright. Well, back to 48, I guess. Right? Yeah, 48. And then we'll go to 49. Speaking to Tomlin. We're starting chapter 2 officially. Let's see. This morning, Langston seems to be back to normal. Townspeople bustle about their daily lives of working, shopping, eating, and gossiping. You guess there are around 1,000 people in Langston, but you see very few people idle. Tradespeople ply their trades smithing, weaving, building furniture, or baking bread. But laughter is just a little too spaced out. The sounds of hammers and hoofbeats seems just a little too loud. The air is charged with fear and grief, even in the light of day. You pass the wagon laden with flowers from the funeral once again, looking forlorn, alone in the street. So you now find yourself in a strange town with a substantial payday on the other end of a murder investigation. The victim is a young woman who was apparently torn apart by a wild beast, but within the confines of the town. Your first lead is the dead woman's fiancé, but that's it. It looks like you have your work cut out for you. Hey, adventurer, calls out a man's voice behind you. It's the same man who challenged you to a fight the night before, carrying a bundle of barrel staves. We've got our eyes on you. Don't you think we don't? A few others nearby shake their heads, and one local shoots you an embarrassed look. Yes, you will definitely have your work cut out for you. If you are able to detect magic through a spell or ability, go to 91. If not, go to 84. I don't think I have. No, I do not have a detect magic ability. So let's go to 84. You follow the mayor's instructions to Tomlin's cottage on the edge of town, but you'd have recognized it regardless. The home is a single-story, multi-room building with the same timber-framed walls, a clean coat of whitewash, and good-condition clay tiles on the roof. However, each visible window is nearly obscured by lush flower boxes boxes. The entire front of the home is festooned with decorative flowers sprouting from bushes and vines, and extending off to either side are more vine-covered trellises, indicating a substantial garden out back, some of which you can see between plants and the trellis. It's a beautiful space whose owner obviously takes great pride in maintaining it, and you admire the effort that went into it if nothing else. As you're not sure if the herbalist Tomlin is expecting you, you can either knock at the door right away or take in more of the surroundings to see if there's anything interesting. I am an investigator. Uh, let's take in the surroundings to see if there's anything interesting. You take a moment to admire the lush flowers and plants around you. A brightly colored butterfly flutters past on its way to some purple flowers growing by the door, and bees hum contentedly among some brightly colored blooms nearby. It smells sweet and green in a way that you could lose yourself in the moment. But before you can decide to give up a life of adventure for a plot of land, the door opens with a loud click. You jump instinctively, reaching for a way to defend yourself before you realize that it's just Tomlin and someone else. He is locked He's locked in a long kiss with a young woman, but sees you out of the corner of his eye and abruptly pulls away. She nearly falls with a cry before catching herself against the doorframe. Tomlin stammers a moment before reaching into the house and handing the woman a sachet of some herbal tea. Here's the medicine for your sick aunt. If there's anything else, the woman has now noticed you as well and blushes. No, no, thank you. I'll give this to my sick aunt. She grips the sachet tightly in her fingers and excuses herself. Tomlin offers you a sheepish smile and a half shrug. You can chastise the herbalist, ask him who the guest was, or say nothing at all. Now, Tomlin is the fiance to the woman who was murdered, and now, just a week later after her murder, he's making out with a new chick. Oh, Tomlin, what are you up to, buddy? Um, I'm gonna ask some questions. I'm gonna ask him who that was. You ask Tomlin who that is. Oh, he says, swiping his mussed hair back into place. Pretty routine, really. She is just a young woman getting medicine for her poor sick brother. Aunt, you remind him. Oh, yes, Aunt, Tomlin says with a half laugh. Terribly ill, but such a darling girl for taking such good care of her ailing mother like that. Aunt, you say again. Right. Won't you come in? He steps inside, waving for you to follow him in. Tomlin, Tomlin, Tomlin. What are you up to? Looking embarrassed, but not able to resist glancing after his guest, Tomlin closes the door behind you. The herbalist's cottage is a riotous sensory experience. Fresh flowers sit in a vase and lie in bunches on various surfaces. More flowers, herbs, and roots hang from special drying racks among the ceiling beams. The windows are all hung with vibrant purple flowers in the early stages of drying out. They are evenly spaced with small bunches of daisies tied with little purple ribbons, so it's difficult for you to tell if they are medicinal or decorative, but it looks like a bit of Maybelline's influence on the space. Maybelline's the girl that was murdered. The odors come in waves, some medicinal and astringent, others floral, herbal, and fruity in waves. It's intense, but not unpleasant. The hearth's coals are banked low, but some decoration bubbles away in a cauldron. No, sorry, I said decoration. Some decoction bubbles away in a cauldron. A more sophisticated filtering system rests on a workbench slowly, dripping a bright orange liquid into a vial. Tomlin reaches for a kettle, just starting to bang away over a burner. Clearly, he had started the water for tea with the expectation of a different companion. He selects a packet of herbs and wildflowers, almost without looking, and tosses them into a teapot and douses the tea in boiling water from the kettle. He pours 2 cups and hands one to you. Bitter steam wafts up from the yellowish liquid in your cup. He eagerly watches you to see if you like the tea. You may drink the tea, politely refuse the tea, or assess the tea for safety. Um, I'm gonna drink the tea. I'm gonna drink the tea. I'll question the guest. I'm not really gonna question the tea. Not right now. Not right now. I don't have reason really to question if he's lethal right now. But he definitely has got some explaining to do. It's an invigorating blend, unlike anything you've ever tried before. Despite the bitter aroma, the decoction itself is earthy and a little sweet. Gain the benefits of a short rest. Hmm. You let Tomlin know that the tea is really very good. Thank you. It's an old family recipe used to give us stamina. It's best to drink it when the mix is fresh, so I didn't see any point in wasting it just because you paid a visit. You look over, and it seems he finally overcome his embarrassment and eyeing you with a sly smile. You look at the cup for a moment. Oh no, just stamina? Nothing mood enhancing? So shall we get started? You agree to begin as you set aside your empty teacup. Okay. Go to 80. So I guess you're here to ask me about Maybelline, Tomlin asks. You let him know he's correct. The herbalist sighs and sips at his tea. Pain springs onto his handsome features, and he looks past you into the middle distance. Maybelline and I have known each other forever, of course, he says. She was the queen of the marketplace and has been since she was a child, I'm told. Even when running her family's vegetable cart, she still kept everyone organized and mediated conflicts, and I'm the town's primary medicinal authority. For the mundane medicine, at least, Roy and Selene help with divine intervention when divine intervention becomes necessary, but still I know everybody anyway. A slow, sad smile spreads across his face, and then sometime around 3 months ago, something just clicked. We danced at the tavern to a bawdy song, kissed in the moonlight, and planned to wed within the month. We were just perfect for each other. And then the tears start. I'm sorry. Thank you for being here to help find whoever or whatever did this so that no one else will have to feel the pain. It's no wonder her parents are holding themselves up in the farm, refusing to talk to anyone. Maybelline was a bright and shining star who will be dearly missed. What else do you want to know? Ask where Tomlin was the night Maybelline died. Ask if Maybelline had any enemies. Ask if Tomlin has seen anyone or anything strange around town lately. I I want to know where he was the night Maybelline died. I mean, that's like the first question you ask, right? When you ask Tomlin where he was on the night of Maybelline's death, a dark flash of anger crosses his face. However, his expression quickly dissolves into shame. I was with friends, he says. Oh no, not the kind of friend, not that kind of friend. I was having a drink at the tavern and it got a little out of hand. Maybelline and I had a whirlwind courtship, so there was no stag party. That night became it. When you ask if anyone else can confirm that, he rattles off a bunch of names. He has a dozen or more people from around town who can confirm he was there until dawn. Roll either an intelligence investigation or wisdom insight check. Let's do investigation because I have a +5. I'm going to use these awesome dragon egg dice that my wife got me because my dice in the last episode hated me. So I'm going to try these dice and hopefully I get a better result. Oh, I did. That is an 18, my friend. So 18 plus 5, that puts me at what, 23? So, okay, if you roll a 10 or more on the investigation check, go to 83. Well, I did. Gain inspiration. You ask a few more questions about the night in the tavern. who was there and what everyone was doing, a picture emerges and it sounds like Tomlin is leaving something out. There are details missing. Ask if it really was just the menfolk or why Maybelline wasn't with him. What do you think? What should we ask this guy? Um, hmm. I mean, if he was with with some ladies or whatever, I really don't care. What I care about is Maybelline, the deceased girl. I'm trying to put together where she was, what happened. So I'm more concerned with Maybelline and not this guy's affairs right now, at least. So let's go to 104. Tomlin looks down into his teacup, swirling the yellow-green liquid and watching the bits of leaves at the bottom spin. I had plans to meet people that night. A childhood friend is having some marital woes and needed an ear to bend, but I would have loved to be with Maybelline too. She just was superstitious. She didn't go out at night when the moon is full. Thought it was an evil omen. He looks up at you, eyes glistening with tears. Turns out she was right. The silence stretches out, only interrupted by the occasional birdsong outside or a bubble bursting in the filtration system. I miss her so much, Tomlin finally says. Never thought I had it in me to settle down with just one woman, especially not a farmer's daughter from the town where I've lived all my life. But that's what happened anyway. And despite my reputation, the herbalist's voice catches and he wipes a few tears from each eye before asking if there's anything else you might need to know from him. If you haven't asked yet, you can confirm that it was just him and his friends at the tavern. Alternately, you can either ask about Maybelline's enemies, inquire about any other strange happenings around town, or say goodbye and continue your investigation elsewhere. I'm not done talking to this guy. Um, uh, I'm pretty sure this guy's got a lady or two on the side. Like I said, I'm really not entirely concerned with that right now. But let's find out if Maybelline had any enemies. Tomlin scoffs. Of course she didn't have any enemies. Everyone loved her, and she loved everyone back. It's as simple as that. Obviously, even the best people aren't universally loved, so Tomlin isn't telling you something. You try to get the information out of him by persuading him that it's safe to tell you. Roll a charisma persuasion check. If you get 10 or more, go to 85. Um, persuasion. Persuasion, I only got a +1 in. So let's see. I got a 17. 17 plus 1, that's 18. That's higher than 10. Go to 85. Tomlin resists revealing any names at first, but only slightly. In fact, there are at least two people I can think of, he says, then quickly raises his hands in a soothing motion. Now, these aren't so much enemies as conflicts, you understand. You nod, and he tells you what he knows. He'd seen Maybelline and Mayor Antrim arguing, and Maybelline never argued with anyone as far as he knew. Sadly, he couldn't hear what they were saying. And Selene was his lover before she went on a pilgrimage. He didn't wait for her, and his love for Maybelline blossomed while Selene was away. Obviously, losing me was quite the blow, Tomlin says with a crooked smile, but then he remembers himself and returns to the story without the playboy arrogance. Selene had shut herself up in the tower for a while before finally venturing out to administer her priestly duties, mostly anointing of babies, blessing homes, and similar tasks. Tomlin didn't speak to her much at that time. Does that help at all? Tomlin asks. If you haven't done so yet, you can either ask about who else was at the event or inquire about other strange phenomena around town. I want to know more about the phenomena around town. Tomlin rubs his beard, which he probably knows highlights his jawline. Nothing strange except maybe that the wolves have been more vocal than usual. There have always been wolves around, but they seem louder and closer over the last month or two. You ask if the wolves have ever been a threat before. Only to livestock, Tomlin says. But now that I think about it, there was also some talk of a couple of strangers that for some reason made a camp near Emmett and Tilly's farmstead. Why wouldn't someone stay in town? There are lots of reasons, Tomlin says with a shrug. If they haven't the coin, or maybe, or they're like Roy and just prefer to sleep without walls hemming you in. But there have also been some farmers complaining about thefts. If these, whoever they are, well, if they're up to no good, that could be why they aren't staying in town. Could they have done this? The herbalist's voice tightens as he makes the realization, and his eyes flash with anger. But you assure him that you will find out. You can continue questioning Tomlin if there are still some questions you haven't asked him. You could ask where he was on the night of Maybelline's death, or ask if Maybelline had any enemies, or if you haven't anything else you want to ask, you can bid Tomlin farewell and continue your investigation elsewhere. Let's see. I'm going to ask him again where he was that night, and it's going to revert me back to 101, which when you ask Tomlin where he was on the night of Maybelline's death, a dark flash of anger crosses his face. However, his expression quickly dissolves into shame. I was with friends, he says. Oh no, not that kind of friend. I was having a drink at the tavern and it got a little out of hand. Maybelline and I had a whirlwind courtship, so there was no stag party. That night became it. When you ask if anyone else can confirm that, he rattles off a bunch of names. He has a dozen or more people from around town who can confirm he was there until dawn. Roll either an intelligence investigation or wisdom check. Didn't I do this? Yes, I did. I did this. I'm going to do it again, though. Investigation. Ooh. Barely. If you roll a 10 or more, so I go to 83. You ask a few more questions about the night at the tavern, who was there, and what everyone was doing. A picture emerges, and it sounds like Tomlin is leaving something out. There are details missing. Ask if it was really just the menfolk, and that's what I'm going to do. Well, mostly just the men, Tomlin says. At some point, Selene was passing through on her way to speak to someone. She looked a little haggard, but was her usual cheery self. She stopped over for a quick hello before rushing on her way. You ask how familiar Tomlin is with Selene and her usual self. Well, he shrugs, but more to relieve himself of some strong emotion than uncertainty. We were lovers before her pilgrimage, but while she was gone, Maybelline and I fell in love. You ask how Selene took it. Not well at first, but she came around. She even agreed to perform the wedding ceremony. You ask if that's typical for Selene to perform ceremonies like that. Her or Roy, he pours himself another cup of tea. Roy was there with us, actually. He left early, though, when he started sneezing and coughing up a fit. You can still ask why Maybelline wasn't with him in the first place, or if you have done so yet, if you haven't done so yet, you can ask more about Maybelline, like if she had any enemies, or if there has been anything suspicious about town. If you have no further questions for Tomlin, you can also take your leave and continue with the investigation elsewhere. I think we've asked everything, so let's take our leave. You say that Tomlin has been very helpful so far, and you get up to leave. Tomlin clears his throat as you ready yourself to go. Before you move on, adventurer, there is something going on here that I'm worried is related to Maybelline's death. The past few nights, something has been tearing up the garden, destroying months of cultivation, and there are strange, clawed prints in the soil many mornings. You ask what you could possibly do to help. Well, obviously, I'm a lover, he says, not a fighter. Please check the garden before you go. He seems genuinely earnest and fearful, so you feel as though you should check it out. Tomlin shows you to the garden outside, the back of his cottage. The lush space is a riot of color and smells, but it's also well organized. It's more of a small farming plot than what can reasonably be called a garden. Flower beds and tracts of green herbs dominate the plot, while climbing vines cover trellises that make up a fence. One of the beams anchoring a far corner of the trellis has fallen over. The place smells amazing, and bees lazily hum from blossom to blossom. From here, you can examine the flower beds, take a look at the fallen post, or walk the trellis perimeter. I'm going to take a look at the fallen post. Really don't care about the flower beds. A large beam has somehow fallen. It seems as though it was partially dug up, and it appears to have fallen on something as it's lying crookedly. Tomlin admits to trying to move the beam, but not being able to, and there are more pressing matters. You decide to move it for him. Roll a strength check with advantage because Tomlin helps you. If you roll a 15 or more, oh boy, I get a -1 to strength, so we'll see, but I do get advantage, so let's see. Okay. Uh, with a -1, that is a 1. I rolled a 2, so a -1 means a 1 or 6 -1, so a 5. So a 1 or a 5, so I failed it. If you roll less than 15, go to 51. As hard as you try, even with Tomlin's help, you just can't get the beam to move. He will have to get a work crew from town to help fix it. From here, if you haven't done so, you can check the flower beds or walk the perimeter of the garden. I'll check the flower beds. Upon closer inspection, some of the flowers are dug up or damaged, so are some of the herbs. Tomlin cradles some of the damaged plants, murmuring to them as if they were sick kittens. Something has clearly been causing havoc here. Roll a wisdom survival check. If you get 15 or more, oh boy, I get a +0 to survival checks. So that is a failure. I got a 9. There's some minor damage to the flowers, much to Tomlin's distress, but you can't see any clues as to what caused it. Continue exploring the garden by following the trellis around the edge of the garden or examining the fallen post. Let's check out the perimeter. You walk around the outer edge of the garden. There's a well-worn trail here, and Tomlin seems to be moving almost mechanically. The trellis is hung with climbing vines of different varieties, some sprouting flowers and others fruits or vegetables. The trellis uses a fairly tight lattice to form what's functionally a wall of vegetation around Tomlin's herb garden, offering both privacy and a sense of peace to the sizable plot of land Tomlin can call his own. It's a pleasant little stroll, in fact, and you can't help wondering how many times Tomlin and Maybelline might have walked this same circuit, or with how many other women Tomlin may have done the same. The herbalist doesn't seem to notice the beauty, but instead is checking the health of his plants, some of which appear to be worse for wear. Roll a wisdom perception check. If you get more than 15, I think I get a plus to perception. Wisdom, perception, yeah, I get a +2. But I need a 15. Let's see what I get. That is a 19 +2, so I got a 21. Heck yeah. Go to 75. So I pass the check. You notice 2 dead shrubs that appear out of place in the manicured garden. Despite being out of the wind, they start to shake and creak, so you know something is amiss. The shrubs uproot themselves and attack, which is about what you'd expected. Go to 64. Oh no! The shrubbery has attacked. let's get a little. Let's see. Is there a? Let's just go with that map. Why not? Okay. I'll move my character sheet over here so I can see my stats and stuff. Okay. And there was what, 2 of them? Okay, so this will be me. And we will say that this is the 2 scraplings. The scraplings look like 2 small humanoids, apparently made of dry wood. They rake at you with sharp claws amid the clattering of the wooden limbs. Tomlin grabs a nearby pitchfork and engages one of them, but he calls out, "Kill them with fire if you can!" You fight only one scrapling, while Tomlin fights the other. Both fight to the death. Okay. Okay, so this will be Tomlin. We'll say Tomlin is attacking that one. And I have to deal with this one. I don't know if I have any fire. Do I have fire? I don't. I don't have fire. I do have acid, but I don't have fire. Okay. Well, let's look up. I don't remember what acid splash does. So, give me one moment. Okay. Acid splash, range 60 feet. You create an acidic bubble at a point within range. When it explodes in a 5-foot radius sphere, each creature in that sphere must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 acid damage. Okay. So if I within 60 feet. So if I target here, no, that will hit Tomlin. If I target here, that's 5 feet. That's 5 feet. Yeah. So I'll target here for the acid splash, and they have to make a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 damage. Okay. They get a +2 to dex. Dag. Okay. So this guy. Oh, he rolled a 1. So what is their HP? They both have 7. Okay. So he takes 1d6 acid damage. Oh man. Dang it. He only took 1 damage. All right, so now this one has to save. Oh, and that one does save. All right, so the one Tomlin's fighting does save. The one I'm fighting did not save, but he only took 1 damage from the acid splash. Oh, shoot, I didn't even roll initiative. Okay, well, oops. Man, I am bad at this. Okay, let's roll initiative. I just acted like I get to go first. Okay. Well, I'd still get to go first. So I took my turn a little prematurely, but all right. So now it's the turn of the one that I am fighting, and it's going to, let's see, actions. Claws does, so it gets +4 to hit. Oh man, I rolled a 20 to hit, and my AC is 13. So yeah, that hit me. It gets 1d4 +1. So it does 3 damage to me. Ouch. So my current HP is 8. I don't know Tomlin's stats. So I don't, because he's coming at the Scrappling with a pitchfork. I would assume that Scrappling is attacking him. But since I don't know his stats, I'm going to say it's attacking me. Why not? And it hits. Shoot. Okay, for 2 damage. All right. What am I going to do here? Because I can't keep this up, man. Let's see. I don't know if it was wise to make an artificer. It's more of a support character, but I never played one before, so I wanted to try it out. You know what I mean? I mean, what's the fun of always playing the same thing, you know? Let's see. Okay, so that won't work. I was going to try to befriend it, but I guess that won't work. All right, I'm going to use grease, and let's see. It says 10. I don't know. It says in a 10-foot square. Okay, so right there. Boom. And each creature in that square has to make a dex save, or or they go prone. What is the difficulty? I guess that's my caster level, I guess. Spell save. Okay, so they got to get a 13. They get a +2 on their dex, though. All right, so this guy is prone. And that guy's prone. Funny thing is, I don't remember what the prone condition does. Let's see, prone. While you have the prone condition, you experience the following effects: restricted movement. Your only movement option are to crawl or to spend an amount of movement equal to half your speed to right yourself and thereby end the condition if your speed is 0. You can't right yourself. Attacks affected. You have disadvantage on attack rolls. An attack roll against you has advantage if the attacker is within 5 feet of you. Otherwise, that attack roll has disadvantage. So, actually, that's a... You know what? I'm going to rewind that, because that makes no sense for me to do that, because then they can just spend their movement to get back up. So, never mind. Shoot. That was a waste. Is there a penalty to a range attack in melee combat? Ranged attack in close combat, page 26 of the player's handbook. Aiming a ranged attack is more difficult when a foe is next to you. When you make a ranged attack roll with a weapon, a spell, or some other means, you have disadvantage on the roll if you are within 5 feet of an enemy who can see you and doesn't have the incapacitated condition. Darn it, dude. Alright, I don't care. I'm going to use my crossbow against this guy, and I guess I get disadvantage. Instead of doing the grease thing. What's their AC? Their AC is 14. I get a +3 with my crossbow. 6. Doesn't matter. I got a 6, so miss. Oh, dude. I'm going to die the first combat. This sucks. Alright, so scrappling attacks me. So 10, he misses me. Second one, I guess, is going to attack me since I don't have stats for Tomlin. Oh, and he crits. Great. So, yep, I am going to die the first combat. 1, 5, 6. So, 6 health. Yep. And I'm down. So it says, if you lose the combat, go to 57. Pierced by the sharp claws of your attackers, you topple into the earth of the garden. The clattering of wood limbs seem to move away, or that could be the darkness moving in on you. You wonder if Tomlin will be able to help staunch the bleeding in time. Then you hear Tomlin scream as the world fades to black. You died. Well, dang. That sucks. Huh. Well, I guess I'm going to have to rewind to that combat in my next episode and take another shot at that. But not doing it tonight because it's time for bed and I gotta work in the morning. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to rewind to number 64 and start that combat over again. That stinks. That's a bit of a letdown, but nice thing about like choose your own adventure type modules is you can go back and start over. But anyway, this has been Dusty and Dice. I think it's great that I died. Woo! Yeah, super happy about that. No. Anyway, it happens. I think in Crystals is the last I died like 3 times. So at least I got it out of the way. First death. Boom. Okay. Anyway, it's been Dusty and Dice. Trust Jesus. Grow daily. Enjoy games. That's the motto. And hope you all have a great night. And hopefully my next time through this combat, I can beat these guys because it did not go well tonight. All right. Hey, y'all take care. See ya.